Welcome back to this part 2, where it's about the climate, warming, and not us humans being the reason for it. So when the children want to demonstrate, it's maybe really because they want to miss out on school. So, because we have such a lot of CO2 coming from the seas. Here you see it has happened before. This is year thousands before now. And there have always been ups and downs, they know that. And then when you look at the temperature here, it looks quite even. It goes up and then down, stays down a lot, goes up again. So here we are at the current point. Well, we're going up. It's all normal. Temperature has to be rising. Then this CO2, which is what plants do take in. It's their food. Now look at that. You've got the same as with the temperature. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. At the moment, again, we are totally in the normal. So I would say, even though on Earth, right here on the poles, there is the ice melting because it gets warmer. Don't worry. It even might be the chemtrails or the HAARPs that do this kind of weather manipulations where you have the clouds on the poles changing their outlook, how they used to look like, they don't look like anymore. And they are even inflicting with the Gulf Stream. So we have a different weather when the Gulf Stream, which should be cold, gets warm. I hope I'm right on that. But what I wanted to say here is, since the plants take in CO2, why are we fighting this? Because if there is on Earth too much CO2, look at this tundra in Russia, how it looks like now. No trees. Trees take in a lot more CO2 than this grass they have in the tundra. It's just flat vegetation here. Well, there actually are trees. Here, no, just grass. It's high Arctic tundra. So what will happen when we have too much CO2 until we go down again, until we are on the lowest on the chart of CO2, will be that we will have trees up here in the high Arctic tundra because it gets more hot, it gets more good for trees to live up here, and they will use up all the CO2. We won't be having any bats to go through, we humans, just because of more CO2. And also the weather, like if you have these catastrophes that flood countries and stuff, this is a chemtrail machine. That's how it looks like in the airplanes. And here it says what they do ever since. So now they do everything: fog and cloud manipulation, space weather manipulation, and they do counter weather, and then they do presentation manipulation, which is just rain and storm manipulation, and artificial weathers. So that's what they do. They've got abbreviations for all of these programs, and they will even increase all of them until 2025. But the fog and cloud manipulation, that one will go down. They will quit on doing these. What that means is what we have happening when areas are flooded, We think it's the warming, the heating of the world. But no, it's maybe the chemtrail, just seeding clouds, making it too hot, creating hurricanes, and then thereof stuff gets rotten. Because when you go to this one, which is the Anti-Sensory Coalition, they got on their website, on one of their congresses, here we are. Somebody that was at place, he was a German, and in his holidays in America, he was listening to people talking about the global warming and how to scam people into paying a lot of taxes just to avoid this warming, which is natural. So you cannot avoid it. It will happen. So it was the birth of the climate lie, it is called. And he is called Hartmut Bachmann. And he is born 1924. And in the 80s, as a CEO, he worked for a US company specialized in climate questions, it says here. He was commissioner of the US energy saving programs. This is him. So he tells in this lecture how he was witnessing people talking about how can we profit from this climate warming that we know will happen, as I showed you on the charts. Everyone can Google that and will know that it has happened before and it will happen again. So just that you see how they trick us into paying a lot. You know? There, where I get my energy from, they actually have it there. In the prices, it says that for every here on the bottom, for the council, the taxes for every kilowatt per hour in raps, I have to pay 2 raps and 30 whatever comes after raps besides franc. That's like, you know, our money. So just 2 raps for every kilowatt hour I have to pay to be going into getting energies from renewable sources, and it also goes into the mending of the water electricity stations. So a small household like mine, I would have in 3 months 1,000 kilowatts per hour usage. So because I don't only have to pay these raps down here, I also have to pay the system, some Swissgrid thing, and then the actual cost for the counter, and then the actual cost for using the power lines, and then I have to actually pay for the electricity. So I've got to pay quite a lot. Like for every kilowatt per hour, I pay 6 and, well, 6 raps. But it makes, I can tell you, so this, for 3 months I had 1,000 kilowatts per hour, kilowatt hours. I paid like 400 Swiss francs about, with all these additional taxes and the price for the counter, which is the highest here because it's in francs, it's 20 Swiss francs. So, they've been successful. All the associations, that tricked us into these taxes, even though there is no need for it, because, climate has always gotten warmer and colder, and there is a Maunder minimum. So when you go onto Wikipedia, you can even look up this one, which it says that about the sunspot observations, we can know that there is a warming and a cooling of the earth, a natural cycle. There's a lot of things to look up, just to be sure. You don't have to go demonstrate for these things on the streets. Okay, so goodbye.